All right, just before we jump into today's episode, a quick word from our sponsor, Katana. Now, I know a lot of you are selling on Shopify, Amazon, wholesale, retail, and sometimes all at once. And, once you're on more than a couple of channels, keeping inventory accurate gets genuinely hard, and that's where Katana fits in. Stock syncs automatically across every channel and every location, all in real time. So there's no spreadsheets, there's no manual reconciliation, none of the setup overhead of a traditional ERP. Now, you can try it for free right now at katanamrp.com. That's katanamrp.com. All right, let's jump into today's episode.
You're listening to E-commerce Fastlane, the podcast show to help you build, manage, grow, and scale a successful and thriving company, powered by Shopify. Listen to real conversations with partners and subject matter experts as they share proven practical strategies, platforms, and the best Shopify apps to help you accelerate your business. The time is now for you to improve efficiencies, grow revenue, profit, and lifetime customer loyalty. Please welcome your host, startup founder, and strategic advisor, Steve Hutt.
Well, hey there. Welcome back to E-commerce Fastlane. I am your host, Steve Hutt. Now, today's conversation is all about getting more out of the traffic that you're already paying for. We know that acquisition costs, they just keep climbing. I know I don't feel it directly because I don't actually have a brand today, but many people that I speak to, I get a lot of DMs on social media and stuff like that, the costs just continue to climb. And it's you know what it is? It's supply and demand. It just is what it is. If people are, Meta and Google and TikTok and whatnot, if they charge because people are willing to pay for it, and people are trying to figure out the best ROI from that paid acquisition channels. But I think what's interesting is that all of this traffic that you're paying for, these people, they land on your store, but many, as we know, many are leaving without buying. And, part of that, most stores kind of show kind of everything, or every visitor, they show the exact same page, like no matter where they came from or what they might be looking for, what the query was. It's so interesting that that's kind of like the only way people are showing things. My guest today, Krisztian, he's from a company called OptiMonk. Now, before OptiMonk, he actually ran his own conversion optimization agency. So he's done this work kind of hands-on for real brands. And OptiMonk really started as one of the most, I would say popular, but literally like they're old school. I think they're around since 2014 or something crazy. But they really were the most popular kind of pop-up tool for Shopify. But it really has grown from this pop-up and exit intent and scroll intent, all these different things. It's really grown now into an AI personalization solution and an A/B testing engine, which we know is incredibly important. And I'm hoping to learn more about that newer part of the product. I know more the core of OptiMonk because I use it on E-commerce Fastlane for my own pop-ups and exit intents and things for my newsletter and whatnot and different partnerships. My goal for today is I really hope that we see that maybe on-site personalization really it can earn its keep. I believe it's not like that's the challenge right now. Is just pop-ups are one thing, and getting people to sign up to the newsletter and in exchange for a small discount. That's table stakes in this day and age right now. I'm really hoping that we can really learn about what the difference it actually can make for your store, and that's why I wanted to have Krisztian on. So, Krisztian, long preamble, but welcome to E-commerce Fastlane.
Steve, thank you very much for the invitation. I'm happy to be with you today. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, my pleasure. So, you ran your own conversion optimization agency, like I said, before OptiMonk. Like, what did you, what was your work like when you were working with clients? Because you obviously did a lot of manual work. And I think today, there are tools and things that can kind of assist with some of that manual work from the beginning. So share with me kind of what your life was like and what you did in the early days of your agency.
Okay, thank you. It's a nice question. So actually, I have started as everybody else, I think, in digital marketing as a freelancer. Then I have built up my own digital marketing agency, which I led for more than 5 years. And it was from the beginning, it's very important to note, a full stack digital marketing agency. Because regarding e-commerce, regarding digital marketing, I deeply believe in holistic approach. I mean, I know exactly there are some agencies who are focusing only on SEO or maybe only on email marketing, only on PPC, whatever. And it's quite good, and it's definitely possible to reach some results with the help of these managed areas. But to my experience, the biggest results, the biggest impact by the clients, by the e-commerce stores, you can achieve when you manage all of these areas together in synergy, and then you can reach really huge results. So that was the reason that it was a full-stack digital marketing agency, but from the beginning with focus on e-commerce and data analytics and conversion rate optimization. Why? First of all, because these were of course my personal preferences. I really love it to working with data, and I have discovered really soon that one thing which is definitely never ever matters in digital marketing and in e-commerce stores is personal opinion. Edward Deming said once that without data, you are just another person with opinion. And personal opinion doesn't matter. Which matters are data. You have to make data-driven decisions in order to be successful in digital marketing and in e-commerce. So therefore, it's very important to measure everything. So to build up, to set up a measurement system, because we know exactly what you don't measure, you can't improve, and make every time data-driven decisions. And I mean, at that time was maybe conversion rate optimization a kind of in shadow. But as you have mentioned in the beginning as well, I think that nowadays is more important than ever before, as the cost per clicks are rising like crazy on Meta and Google Ads and TikTok, whatever.
Yeah. And just maximizing the existing traffic that you do get. I mean, like I said, the CPCs are incredibly expensive, and people unfortunately are doing more blended ROAS, and they're just and they feel that it's going in the right direction, but it is kind of expensive. It is incredibly important for that second sale in a lot of cases to break even for people, and that's why loyalty systems and retention strategies really kind of come into the play. I think OptiMonk kind of has a little bit of a different play on this, because they understand that, hey, we understand the visitor that's coming in to the shop, and we know how we can personalize that, or at least A/B test things and come up with a winner, and then continue on and showing that directly. So, and I read something kind of just before recording today. I kind of creeped it on your LinkedIn profile, but you have this concept about conversion before acquisition, and I want you to kind of walk through my listeners about this, because why is converting existing traffic kind of the cheaper play right now? I guess there's the cost per click side of it too, but why is it cheaper? And let's talk about this conversion before acquisition concept.
Yeah, so it's actually a very good question. Yeah, definitely conversion before acquisition. Because just very shortly back to my personal story, the name of the brand of my agency was Conversions Master, because I have discovered that with the tool of the conversion rate optimization, it's actually a great tool. You can actually achieve that with the same investments regarding energy, regarding money, regarding time. You can really achieve huge results. Like, for example, one of my favorite success stories was that without increasing the budget for PPC campaigns, we have achieved almost 70% uplift in revenue by a quite big e-commerce store in Hungary at that time. So I really deeply believe on it, that conversion rate optimization, and especially AI-driven CRO, is the future of e-commerce. So just back to your question. So Shopify merchants usually invest heavily in paid traffic, Meta ads, Google Shopping, influencer campaigns, whatever. Yet the vast majority of visitors land on product pages and leave without taking any action, resulting in conversion rates that hover around between 2 and 3%, as in the industry-wide. We can say this is the benchmark. So the core pain point is not a lack of traffic, but a lack of relevance. Every visitor sees the same static product page, regardless of whether they arrived from a discount-focused ad, an organic search, or a returning visit, which means the messaging, the social proof, and offers fail to match their intent at the exact moment of decision. So I think that it's very important to show the right message to the right people at the right time. Because nowadays, visitors expect a personalized experience. Last time I have read a case study about it, that between 65 and 70% of the online visitors expect nowadays a personalized experience. Nobody wants to see general messages anymore on site.
Yeah. Just add a side note to that. It happened to me even recently where this is a very premium North American jean brand. I won't name who they are. They have retail locations, so you can probably start triangulating who they are. I'm really shocked, and I've bought from them before, so I have the logged in experience when I go to their website, even currently, because I'm on their newsletter. Whenever I click through from the newsletter, number one, the newsletters are showing women's clothing, and I haven't bought anything from women's clothing. So there's an email and SMS fail. And number two, when I go to the website, clicking through from a newsletter or from a promotional offer, it lands on women's stuff.
Big
Makes no
failure.
sense to me.
Absolutely not. And I think nowadays, segmentation and personalization, or even with the help of AI, is of course already hyper-personalization possible. These are very important, where you have to focus on. And if you have the possibility, for example, as you have mentioned from email, via UTM parameters, actually you can know a lot about the returning visitors. Like I would say it's really a basic line that based on the traffic source, you have to show them different landing pages, different on-site messages.
Right. No, 100%. No, I'm with you on that for sure. So I want to talk a bit about so what is, and now you mentioned about the whole static page situation, and I know it's definitely leaving money on the table. There's no doubt about it. I'm case in point where it's just, even the last few emails that I've been getting and going to this jean brand, it's just like I still haven't purchased. I may or may not, just because it's not the warm and fuzzy that I'm getting the type of personalized experience that I believe I deserve, especially in my particular case, and I'm the logged in experience case, which is really weird to me, not being able and dynamically being able to understand me as a site. I'm not an anonymous site visitor with some kind of like pixel tracking thing going on with me, and you kind of trying to figure me out. I'm truly logged in. And they're not showing me. And I find that really, really
low-hanging fruit.
I'm definitely low-hanging fruit because, hey, Steve, based on these previous orders that you've created, we believe that, hey, this new collection might be great for you here, 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 and here, right? So it's just really odd that these sort of things are happening, right? So, but you say that the static pages we are leaving money on the table, so what does a personalized version look like now for a visitor? Like you said, there's UTMs in different ways. There's obviously technology built into the OptiMonk solution that allows for a marketer or a founder with the Shopify connection to be able to create that personalized experience.
Yes, absolutely. So actually, as we know, higher relevance equals higher conversion rates. Right. So that's the basic. Yeah. So OptiMonk is working with first-party data, which means in the moment when it's connected with your website or with your e-commerce store, especially by Shopify, we are in the App Store. So with just 2 clicks, you can install it and everything is working very easy and very smooth, the whole onboarding process. So from that moment, OptiMonk is starting monitoring your visitors and gathering data from them. And based on that data, you are able to target your on-site messages, like I have mentioned before, based on traffic source. Is it a new visitor or a returning visitor? Have they ever purchased yet something by you or not yet? Have they ever subscribed to your newsletter or not yet? And a lot of other possibilities, even on visitors' behavior. It's now possible to target your on-site messages. So there are plenty of possibilities how you can set up, how you can adjust your campaigns.
I see. And so I see there's quite a few different options here. One that I want to talk about, I know the original part of OptiMonk was more static pop-ups. Basically, you could be by keyword, it could be by page, it could be by campaign or project and things like that. But I find it interesting now that you have there's been quite a modification now where you have multi-step pop-ups now, and you have like a full AI now where you actually can create in real time. You can actually create the right pop-up images and offers based on where you believe the customer is in their journey of checkout. So it's quite interesting. So can you share a little bit about that kind of dynamic part of the AI engine?
Yeah, sure. I think with AI have opened for us new opportunities, new doors. And with the help of our built-in AI in the moment, when OptiMonk is connected to your store, it's also connected to your product feed, which means that all the data from your product feed will be pulled out. And based on that data, we are now able, with our built-in AI, to regenerate, for example, your product images. Because let's be honest, it's quite often a challenge by a lot of e-commerce stores that they have very boring product pictures with a white background or a transparent BNG. To be honest, nothing special. But with our AI, we can now regenerate these product images to make it more alive, to make it more attractive, to make it more compelling. And you can use these creatives in all your on-site messages. So not just in pop-ups and sticky bars or inside messages, but we have now also a kind of embedded content which looks totally native, just as a part of your product page, for example. So actually your visitors don't even recognize that they are looking at an OptiMonk campaign. They think it's just a part of the product page. But this part, this embedded content, can be changed automatically and dynamically with the help of our AI. And not just the product pictures, but of course also from the product description can be pulled out the data, and the AI is able, for example, to summarize it, to make compelling headlines or make a short benefit lists in 3 bullet points. Because let's be honest, if you have a long product descriptions, nobody will read it, or at least the majority of your visitors definitely won't have time for that. But if you are able to summarize it just in 3 bullet points, the most important benefits, and a compelling headline, and of course a nice product image, to our experience, it can dramatically increase the add to cart rate and also the conversion rate, so the revenue at the end of the day. And we have a lot of data proved case studies about it, that it's not just an assumption that it looks much nicer, but it definitely works. Because we know exactly that 99% of the purchase decisions will be made on emotion levels. So if you are able to influence the emotions of your visitors when they are browsing on your product page, you can have better results.
I see. What's interesting too, I noticed on like your AI wizard option where you can kind of build like almost like this perfect pop-up, you call it, in a couple minutes, where you drop in the URL. And I kind of go back to the 80-20 rule. Like, usually 80% of your revenue is coming from 20% of your products. And so knowing that, it's just like, well, how do I optimize, for the 80% of where my revenue is coming from, and dropping in a URL and then getting some AI suggestions, things like, gamified email captures or whatever, product promotions and discount offers and whatever the creative that's being made based on the URL in your engine, and then all of a sudden you can then adjust it accordingly and then activate it and even A/B test that. Run it for a couple of weeks, get a winner, and then find another test, and just keep running nonstop. That's very interesting and compelling offer that it does that based by putting a URL in and having a workflow.
Yeah. So actually, you mean now our public wizard?
Yes. Yeah. The AI. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a quite new tool from us. It's completely free of charge, what you can use, what you can test. It's an AI-powered public wizard. You can just put the URL of your store there, and in a couple of minutes, it's pulling out actually all the, of course, front-end data from your store, like the colors, the style, the most important font style, everything. And based on that is now our tool able to generate very nice and compelling on-site messages to you. But it's actually, I would say, just scratching the surface, because in the next level, as I have mentioned before, when OptiMonk is connected directly to your Shopify store and to your product feed, now the opportunities are even better and more. And regarding the A/B testing, it's also very important to mention. Right. We have the big advantage, as I have mentioned before, that we are working with our first-party data. Right. And it makes possible that now we have a very, very detailed analytical dashboard where you can see the most important KPIs. To be honest, we get sometimes even feedback. We have, of course, a lot of clients worldwide from our users, from our customers, that our analytics is even more reliable than the numbers what they can see in Google Analytics 4.
Mm-hmm. Well, part of it is first-party data. I think that's the problem, though, and there's always been that challenge of like, well, where is the source of truth? Because Shopify is showing one thing, Google Analytics shows something, the ad platforms sometimes show something different. There's a lot of disparity, and everyone's eating their own dog food or giving themselves attribution for things that maybe they shouldn't. And it's nice to know that OptiMonk is kind of sitting there with their own first-party data, and if that's the source of truth for conversion, because it's the one dynamically creating things and A/B testing things, I think that's a very compelling offer.
Yeah, definitely, and it's very easy to set up. The whole A/B testing, you're going to see all the most important results and KPIs on your own OptiMonk analytics dashboard, like the click-through rates, impressions, and of course, even the assisted revenue. It's also very important that you can see definitely how much extra revenue was generated from the visitors who have engaged with your OptiMonk campaigns.
Basically, so when someone comes to the site and they I guess they use or they interact with some of the OptiMonk features, like maybe it's an A/B test.
Okay.
Maybe there's, it's a pop-up.
One of the campaigns. Okay.
Yeah, some kind of a campaign. They interact with it. They don't convert, but obviously the OptiMonk pixel is running. So we have some, some history of this client, this customer on the website. We understand their journey. And then they leave. And then they happen to come back later, directly or through another campaign. So the assisted revenue that you're referring to is that because there's been some either visual or physically have clicked on things, OptiMonk generated content, then the client comes back, a customer comes back and they make a direct purchase. Is that the assisted revenue that you're referring to? Because it sometimes I don't know how to say, is it last touch attribution? Is OptiMonk directly related to the fact that this is actually converted? It's because of OptiMonk. I just want to get your mindset about what assisted conversions actually is.
Yeah, very good question. So in our definition, assisted revenue in that case is that somebody has engaged with one of the OptiMonk campaigns, like, for example, filled in a form, or, for example, redeemed a coupon code, which was showed from an OptiMonk campaign, like, for example, for carton abandoners.
Right.
And in that case, if that session ended with a purchase, this was an assisted revenue helped by one of the OptiMonk campaigns. And you can even compare the performance of each OptiMonk campaigns, because this assisted revenue you can see detailed by campaigns.
I see. And then if somebody was to interact with a campaign from OptiMonk and leave, and then come back and then just go directly, just use a search bar, go directly to the product and check out. Is there any kind of like attribution given to the fact that, hey, we had some interaction in the past, whatever that window is, not during this current session we didn't, but now they've converted. Is there still some kind of like assisted conversion saying that, well, they came back because they had a great first experience with us using OptiMonk, like AI, didn't buy on the spot, bought later? Should OptiMonk through the dashboard get some kind of attributed revenue in that particular case?
Yeah, definitely. So it's depending on the time frame.
Okay.
Because it's stored in the cookies. So that's the reason, for example, that we can differentiate if this is a new visitor or a returning visitor. Have they anything purchased so far or not yet? This is the reason how we can store it. But of course, it's depending on the time frame. If it's within 90 days, then we can count it to the same session, or let's say to the same visitor. If it's after 90 days, then it's too long and then it starts like a new one.
I see. Okay, very cool. Now, what about like case studies? I actually looked at the website. There's so many on here, and I'm sure there's even some private case studies that you haven't, that you just kind of keep to yourself because there's maybe you're under NDAs because things are working so well. But is there anything kind of anecdotally or any case studies that you can think of top of mind? You're like, hey, here's what this direct to consumer brand was like. Here what their life was without OptiMonk. They found us. They've installed our solution and are implementing our solution. And here's what great looks like for them today. Is there anything that you can kind of call out publicly?
Absolutely, because a couple of weeks ago, I was one of the invited speakers at the Balkan e-commerce summit. As the name says, this is a big e-commerce event by us in East Europe. It was in Sofia in Bulgaria. Okay. And there to my presentation, I brought with me a real case study from Hungary with one of the biggest e-commerce stores called WhiskeyNet. So it's absolutely public. I can talk about it. Okay. And I have, of course, also showed the numbers there and all the campaigns, which means that they have approximately 120,000 unique visitors per month. So they are quite big, actually, at least by us in Hungary. Right. And with the help of our AI-powered optimization campaigns, just in a couple of months, let's say 2 or maximum 3 months, we were able to increase their revenue with 12%, which is by this size, let's be honest, a nice amount of money. I cannot say the exact amount, but you can imagine it, I think, by this size, that 12% uplift in revenue is still a big growth, actually.
It is. Absolutely. I'm looking at and I'll make sure I put this case study in the show notes. It is pretty impressive what the one particular product page looked like, and then what the dynamically generated kind of AI product photography additions that were added, plus, some social proof things and all that. Yeah, and a 12% conversion lift. Like, it's pretty amazing. And the badges and all everything.
Yeah, they look really nice. Absolutely. When the 3 most important benefits, what I have mentioned before, you don't write it, but you show it on badges directly on the product pictures.
Yeah. No, this is
really nice.
Pretty impressive. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But I will make sure that I list a bunch of these case studies, or at least I'll link to this one for sure, but I'll link to all the other case studies, because no matter what industry you're involved in, I think there's a benefit to use OptiMonk. I'm not even in e-commerce and I use OptiMonk, so that's interesting right there. Because I know the product is great, but man, it really gets its teeth into when you talk about what the AI can do now for conversion lift. It comes back to the original question we said right at the beginning. Like, let's maximize the existing traffic we do have. You have campaigns driving either organic traffic. You're somehow doing that through SEO and GEO and, all the acronyms for AI assisted kind of, traffic. But then you have paid acquisition, like through Meta and Google and TikTok and wherever else. That money is being spent and people are coming to the site, and, you're getting like your 2%, 3% conversion rate. What are you doing for those 97 out of 100 people that leave? Well, maybe if you can convert a lot of those ones, you're not having to spend any extra money on paid ads, because you're converting at a higher rate because of this dynamic ability available now through OptiMonk.
Yeah, and just very shortly back to the topic of product pages, I think the real power of AI is regarding the scalable system. Because I'm into optimize 1, 2, or 3 product pages. Well, everybody can do it. But what do you do if you have 10,000 products? Who will optimize your 10,000 product pages? That's the smart part on it, that with the help of our AI, you are in control, but AI does the heavy lifting.
Right. So
you can do it in a scalable way.
What about seasonality? Because I think a lot of, there are a lot of different types of, I don't want to talk about just Black Friday only, but I think, in North America, there's like 4th of July, or, there's different kind of seasons. And I think there's a lot of, Father's Day, Halloween, whatever. So there's a lot of stuff out there. How does OptiMonk think about seasonality of product and kind of what it can offer to that customer experience?
Well, in that case, it's again a big advantage that now we have this built-in AI tool by us, because you can iterate it. Like you do it in your everyday work in ChatGPT or whatever you use it. Mm-hmm. So it means we can definitely do these product images or even your on-site messages in these seasonal styles. like, as you have mentioned, Black Friday, Christmas, Easter, Independence Day, whatever. Yeah. So you can even change it. What usually it takes maybe several days. Now you can do it in a couple of hours with the help of our AI. It's just a kind of iteration, and you can do it directly on your OptiMonk account.
That's very cool. Now, what about the other feature that I kind of want to dig into too is, once again, I'm an OptiMonk user, but I'm not a power user because I'm not running an e-commerce store. And that's why I wanted to have you on, because I believe there's so many parts that have iterated over the last little bit here now that are really impactful for Shopify businesses. And one thing I noticed was this kind of smart analytics feature, talking about revenue leaks and trying to figure things out. And once again, it's obviously using AI, first-party data from Shopify, plus the visitor data that has been picked up by OptiMonk. So talk a little bit about what this part of the platform is, this smart analytics, and like what can it reveal? Because once you attach the Shopify app, all of a sudden it's ingesting everything, tracking everything, understanding the customer journey. And then is it proactively giving some ideas about what should be improved, where the leaks are, what kind of recommendation, is there hand holding of how we can improve the site because of this data that's available?
Yeah, so actually we are working on it, that based on your campaign performance, you will be able soon to ask your OptiBot, we call it OptiBot, nice. To make you proactive recommendations. Like, for example, this campaign is performing not so well as the others. What could be the reason for that? Well, try to optimize this one. So we are actually dreaming about a future where you have actually just give some instructions to your AI and OptiMonk. Actually, this kind of wipe coding we have already developed, which means that in some cases you don't need to make your campaign adjustments and setups manually. You can still do it if you like it, this drag and drop system. But now it's also possible just to talk to our built-in AI and let them do the work.
Mm-hmm. So essentially, it almost like it could spot, soon to spot some of these, I almost kind of call them growth opportunities, because the thing was, it could identify maybe conversion gaps, or maybe there's mobile optimization problems with your theme and the checkout flow. Something's broken that you can see that, why is mobile conversion lower than desktop conversion? What's happening there? Flagging things and then coming up with some ideas like, A/B testing variants based on, these things that aren't quite working well or things that can be improved.
Well, actually, this is not published yet, but we are definitely working on it to make this kind of CRO tips. But, for example, by your A/B testing, if you set up an A/B testing system, it gives already smart recommendations. For example, how sure is it, for example, about it that the version B is performing better like version A? So you get definitely some instructions. But I would say at the moment on a basic level, but for the future, we are definitely working on it to have it as well in the near future.
Lovely. So then let's talk about like the sweet spot of merchant, because we have a lot of people listening. There's probably upwards of 5,000 people listening to this episode over the next few weeks. And so knowing that, it's like everybody's in a different kind of entrepreneurial journey. There's some early stage people, there's some mid-market, there's going to be some enterprise people that are listening right now. Where do you see the sweet spot where you have product market fit and enough data and revenue so that it could actually be impactful enough to want to use OptiMonk?
Yeah, well, actually, I think that conversion rate optimization makes sense if you have enough data, especially AI. We know exactly AI is working from data. So based on the volume of the database, it's very important that if the input is not so great regarding AI, also the output will be not so magnificent. So I would say that ideally an e-commerce store with at least 10 or 15,000 unique visitors per month, This is, I would say, the minimum level where it makes sense to switch on the AI-powered CRO tools. Of course, also with less visitors, it's possible, for example, to use the classic pop-up tools, what you have also mentioned at the beginning. So it's definitely worth to try it out, at least to set up some campaigns for gathering subscribers or reducing cart abandonment rate. So there are still a lot of opportunities. But the biggest impact, the biggest results we can achieve by e-commerce stores where there are a lot of, or at least enough visitors, and of course, a lot of data, a lot of products. So I would say, as you have formulated it, the sweet spot is by this level. And one more advantage, which I didn't mention before, regarding your question, that we have discovered that it's definitely the demand there on the market for these CRO tips. Which I have mentioned before that we are working on it, that you're going to see it automatically on your account. But at the moment, what we have instead of that, we have now an in-house service team from CRO experts, which means if you are looking for that solution, we are happy to offer for you a kind of this service, which means that our CRO experts going to analyze your store. And based on their experience, they put together for you a custom-tailored solution plan with custom-tailored campaign recommendations in a form of a Google Slides presentation or whatever. So it means you have actually an action plan in your hand. And if you wish, we are also happy to build it up, to set up these campaigns for you. So now we have also this offer in our platform.
Very cool. I'll make sure I put that in the show notes too, because that's good. Some people want the hand holding, or they just love an expert to have a second set of eyes to actually look at the campaign or help them create a campaign. They want to do the work themselves, and they probably want to use the tool, but it's nice to have another, can't see the forest for the trees sometimes. Second set of eyes looks and goes, oh, okay, yeah, I never thought about that. Okay, I'm willing to test that. And then once again, going through the platform, you'll be able to see the winners, and then especially on the PDP pages and the dynamic kind of AI side. So interesting that all is available like from an actual human inside OptiMonk. So that's really cool. One little side question I have too, and it's important for people that when they want to install a new app and kind of go down this journey of improving, their revenue from their store, is playing nicely with other pieces of technology. People always say, "Oh, I'm really scared to add something new. I don't want to slow down my store, and I want to make sure that it, if I'm using Attentive or PostScript for SMS, or if I'm using Klaviyo or OmniSend or whatever you're using for email, you want to make sure that everybody at least has an agreement that they're working together in a nice way. So what's the mindset of OptiMonk to play nicely with other pieces of technology that a brand may already have installed?
It's very important. So we strongly believe in it. That's the reason, for example, that we have more than 1,000 integrations with other tools. Let's start with email marketing tools, actually almost all of them, with all kind of platforms, because we also know that nowadays you have to think on complex customer journey with a lot of platforms, with a lot of tools. So the MarTech is actually growing very rapidly. So therefore we have a lot of connections, lot of integrations, because we know exactly this is what brings this is what delivers measurable results for e-commerce store owners.
Okay, perfect. That's important, because I think that's the big blocker that I hear from a lot of people. They're like,
absolutely.
"Oh my gosh, I just," because I know, and I joke about this on the show a lot, where my early days was at Shopify, that one of the first things I did when I took on a new brand was I would do an app audit and just double check to see, like, okay, why are you, like, let's go top to bottom. Why are you using these? Let's go through this one. Why this one? Why this one? And a lot of times the marketer or the founder had no idea why they're paying $500 a month for some forecasting tool that the team members left like a year ago, and they're paying $500 a month for it. And that happens a lot. And not to mention, the load on, that instance by having, multiple JavaScripts running and tools running that don't need to run. And I think that's one advantage of maybe your solution, is that you don't have to worry about that sort of thing. You can play nicely with existing piece of technology. If you're using the pop-up side of it and you want to use Attentive to get SMS and a multi-step kind of like capture, email and SMS, it can work. PDP pages, so you have a lot of parts of the platform, which I think are really cool. So I love that. What about education? Because I think there's some people that are really, maybe they don't need to have the CRO team involved at OptiMonk. what do you have for education purposes for those that want to like do live learning or recorded learning, like lessons and things? What does OptiMonk offer for that?
Both possibilities we have, but just shortly, very back to your question before, just let me tell you just one example regarding integrations, because I know that a lot of Shopify store owners are using Klaviyo. And for example, with Klaviyo, we have such a deep integration that it's even possible now to target your on-site campaigns with OptiMonk based on the Klaviyo segments. If they come back to your site as returning visitor, just back to your example that now it's we know everything about if you are clicking through from an email, especially from if you are using Klaviyo.
Right.
Okay, and to your actual question, so both are definitely possible by us. Firstly, we have pre-recorded tutorial videos. We call it Conversion Academy. From the beginning, from the basics until the power user, with a lot of advanced features. So we have tons of videos there, how to use our tool, and also that you can better understand the background regarding conversion rate optimization. As I have mentioned before, we call it Conversion Academy. Just look for it on the website of OptiMonk. Okay. And if you would like to get some more custom-tailored campaign recommendations, you have definitely the possibility to set up a call with one of our customer success colleagues, and then you have the possibility to ask, and of course also to get your custom tailored solution plan, as I have mentioned before.
Yeah, this is amazing. So what do you think some of the next steps are? So those that are listening right now, if they're in that sweet spot where they have enough traffic, and they have enough revenue to kind of justify this, and they want to start using this tool, crawl, walk, run. They want to take a look and see, maybe they're using a competing tool that only does pop-up, let's say, for example, or they're using native pop-ups from some of these providers. There might be benefits in moving to OptiMonk. So let's say someone says, yes, I want to give it a whirl. What do you believe the next steps are to get people up and running quickly?
Yeah. So I would say the next step would be just to sign up for a free OptiMonk account. I think we can put the link here to the podcast. Okay. And I think we can also offer a special gift to our listeners, because thanks to you, Steve, we can also offer a special coupon code.
Oh, good.
I think we can also show this coupon code there. And if somebody uses this coupon code, then after when they actually upgrade from the free account to the paid plan, then definitely we can give them some discount. Okay. And if they are interested in this custom tailored solution plan, then I can also give a special URL, a special link for that purpose. And we can also put it in the podcast, which means that they don't have to look after that on the OptiMonk website. So actually 2 links and a coupon code. I think these are the most important next steps.
Okay, perfect. I'll make sure I add that. It'll be both in the show notes and on the episode notes. So you'll have that direct link to a special kind of listener only bonus or promotion. And we'll give you a custom link that you can kind of apply. I think this has been good. It's been pretty impactful. Like I've kind of learned a lot. Like I'm on like a joke on the show, but I'm at literally page 2 of notes. I've written down a lot. So it's really cool. Like I'm really glad like I said, I'm a fanboy. That's the reason why you're on today, is because I actually use the OptiMonk product physically in my world. And I know you're not just e-commerce, but you've really have expanded out into the e-commerce world now with these additions to the platform. You have your roots, but you also now are really got your flag in the Shopify sand now. And I think that's why I could tell that's what was happening, and I wanted to make sure that we got your story told correctly to a larger audience. So any kind of parting words before we wrap up for today?
Maybe, but I would definitely emphasize here at the end, before you start giving more, this is one of my favorite analogy, before you start to increase your marketing budgets, before you start giving more water to the bucket, first of all, think about it. Where are the leaks on your bucket? And this is exactly what conversion rate optimization is about. This is exactly how OptiMonk is working. So therefore, I say OptiMonk is actually not a vitamin anymore. It's actually a painkiller, because it can dramatically decrease your customer acquisition cost and increase your ROAS. And this is on the long term, actually, it could not just save or rescue the life of your e-commerce store, but actually make it very successful. So this is the real point, what you have to understand.
This is amazing. Like I said, OptiMonk, like I said, been around a long time. I don't know how many customers you have, but like upwards of 30,000, I know, or more merchants. You're a very established player in the marketplace. I really feel like, I don't know, like 10, 11 years you've been running this business, bootstrapped. Like it's pretty amazing. It's an amazing SaaS story. And the only way that, a bootstrap business to do as well as it's doing right now is because of the quality of the product and the ROI that customers are getting out of it. And 11 years doing it or more, but now really becoming, I'd almost argue, like an AI first product company now, because you really are, using the power of AI now to really improve the CRO and testing and your analytics side of it. And there's a lot going on here, and I think it's great. And I still like the crawl, walk, run. Install it maybe in replacement to what your current pop-ups and exit intent and scroll things that you currently have with Klaviyo or Attentive or PostScript or whatever. But then when you see with the pixel attached, with your own tracking first-party data, then the world's your oyster for improving product pages and then A/B testing things. So I think it's pretty cool. So this has been very eye-opening. Thank you again for, I know it's late for you in Hungary. Thanks again for jumping on this recording today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Steve. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
All right. Have yourself a great evening, and I'll have a great mid-morning. All right. Take care. All right. Well, that's it for today's episode. I'd like to thank you personally for being a loyal listener of E-commerce Fastlane. It's my hope that this podcast is offering you a ton of value through growth strategies, tactics, and exclusive insider tips on the best Shopify apps and marketing platforms, all with my personal goal to help you build, manage, grow, and scale a successful and thriving company powered by Shopify. Thanks for investing some time today and listening to the show. I'm so proud and excited that you have a growth mindset and are a constant learner. I truly appreciate you and your entrepreneurial journey. Enjoy the rest of the week and keep thriving with Shopify.